Hi, Total.
Hello, goodness me.
I don't know what to say. I am panicking. I'm excited. I'm scared of whatever that thing was.
Oh, it looked amazing. It was like War of the Worlds all over again.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we've literally just reacted to the latest trailer, the one from the to be continued. And my jaw was on the floor the whole entire time, and I'm just glad a lot of stuff was answered. Because there's been so many speculations from myself and Total this week, and a lot of you guys in the comments. So, yeah, it's just, I'm just glad we got some stuff. But then we got more stuff to talk about.
There's so much to unpack from that video.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's more coming, but obviously we'll save that for...
we'll talk about that. But we brought a friend.
We did.
You might know who he is. He's been extremely busy, but I'd like to introduce you to...
I was supposed to do a bit there, but I messed it up.
What did you try to do? Because we can't see you right now. So.
Sip from my coffee cup.
Oh, just like stare into the camera or something? The funny thing is, we can't see each other right now. Like,
we have no idea what's going on.
I'm talking to myself in OBS, so it's like I can't see what Snutt's doing. Like I can't see what Total's doing. So
I'm nude in my apartment, and I am having the time of my life.
Sounds like a party, to be honest. Sounds like a party. But yeah, Snutt, that video.
It was all right.
It was more than all right.
I'm not gonna lie. You was in bed at 3:15 compared to you watching that first clip. So, why are you in bed so late?
Because I got nothing better to do.
Yeah, I did pick up on it. I saw it. I was like, GG's on these videos, because what you do on these videos is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
So funny, but then so entertaining. I think it's a highlight for the community every time these little teasers kind of come out, and I think it's a treat, and I'm hoping we see more in the future, even though this was the last teaser, but I'm guessing maybe for 2.0.
2.0, holy shit.
We all want 2.0.
Yeah, I'll see you in another 8 years, man.
Yeah. Just on a walking stick, just, yeah.
Back in my day, we used to have Windows 11.
Windows 11.
Yeah.
Those
are the days. Yeah, no, it's fun. I like making these videos, and I like when people speculate on the videos, because every single video I make, I always try to think of it as like I'm making this video for community, right? But I'm also making this for everyone else, sort of that want to do something with the videos. So I always try, every single video I've made so far, I've tried to like, how can I make this video to be very informative, but also how can I make this video so that people can do something with it after the fact.
Be cryptic and
yeah.
The funny thing is, because my last video I released, for some reason, my flashbangs were going off during that video. One of the comments had me howling because it was like, Snutt's probably hanging outside the window in a Men in Black suit trying to flashbang your memory right now. I was dead. I was absolutely dead. But before we get into this, I want everyone to go into the comments in Total's channel, in my channel, and just put a lovely message for the dev team, and Snutt and everything in the comments, because they'll go through them and read them. So do that, because it's the last trailer. So it's good morale boost and just show some love and support. But then I think we can get into the first topic and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah. Well, beforehand, probably just to mention, I don't think the community realize how much work goes into each of these trailers that you do.
Yeah.
Like, I am so impressed with what you managed to sneak by us or like put in for us. Like, fantastic work, and hats off to you for it.
There's definitely been like a learning curve to this for me, because like I feel like I've finally at this point hit like the balance of like how do I make it sneaky, but not like impossible, and also make it like, because there's a bit of low hanging fruit where I'm like, I know people will pick up on this, and they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really fun to see like people react to this, and it's also I think it's fun for everyone as well. Like when this stuff finally comes out and we're like clarifying like this is how it works, then people can feel also that like, oh, I figured it out. Like there's a bit of an element there as well, where I want people to find out. Like I don't want it to be like just haha, only I knew. It's for everyone. Really.
Yeah, I could only imagine like just sitting there and just listening to people's thoughts and going, wait, how did you get to this from this? How did you get this from this? And like, it's like, you're just gonna be sat there just laughing, giggling, and like so confused and everything. But yeah.
And it's clear that we've managed to get a few things right, but we've also got a load wrong.
yeah. So we'll get to it in later on in regards to what I thought on something, what Total, and then we found out we was both right, and we'll kind of talk about that. But I can't wait any longer, and I think we need to get into some of this stuff because there was some stuff in here which we didn't expect coming. There was something which in the first topic, which is the new fuels.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want to go with fuels on this one.
Okay. Well, we have two new fuels. The first one is the Charizard fuel.
That's what it's calling it, I guess.
What was it? The rocket fuel, and then we had the ionized fuel. The funny thing with the rocket fuel, I remember, I think you did a stream with Mark, and it was when you were releasing the nitrogen gas. And I put a message in, and it was like, are we going to get like NOS gas for our tractors? And now we have rocket fuel that we can use on them. So, but it's pretty interesting. Not only that we've got these two fuels, one of which is using power shards, isn't it? The ionized one.
Yeah, the ionized one. And we've actually seen that in a previous trailer. We both actually spotted it in the 1 minute toilet flush trailer, which you see it in one shot.
Two shots.
Yeah, 2 shots. I'll try and put some B-roll over this on that, which is, you can see the hub in the distance and then kind of like the handle kind of canisters in there as well, yeah.
It totally threw me off because I thought it was over the gas. Like the gas was going off and I was like, that's a new gas extractor and we've got new gas canisters. Nope.
Well, we can't say that just yet.
Well, that is true.
There could be still some stuff to come.
Well, this video sort of summarizes everything you're going to see in 1.0. So, like,
Does it?
Does it?
I mean, unless I forget something, which isn't impossible, I guess. But, like, yeah. Because I did forget to put in fuel types in the previous video. Because that was supposed to be in that one.
Yeah, that's a good point. You could clear something up that you said in Total's chat, which was the Fixonium fuel burn rate or something.
Yeah, the Fixonium fuel rods. I mentioned that they're the worst fuel type for like nuclear power plants, and it's because they have the fastest burn rate. And that was also supposed to be in the video, but I forgot to point that out when we were editing it.
Yeah, so like myself and Total went to look at what it is, and obviously plutonium 10 minutes, uranium 5 minutes, which means it's going to be lower than 5 minutes. So.
I think it's 2.5. I can't actually ignore numbers actually because like I can never remember these.
So it's below 5 minutes. Just
yeah.
It's below 5 minutes and above 1 second.
It's the worst one. So yeah.
Fuel.
Yep.
Total.
Sorry. I was like, are you going to go on with something about fuel?
It's still your topic.
So we have the rocket fuel, which is using the nitric acid and then turbo fuel. And the interesting thing with that is also it's made in the blender and then outputs as a byproduct the compacted coal. So we're going to be able to use the compacted coal in other production lines if we want, or for power as well. Possibly
I can mention that you need compacted coal to make turbo fuel, right? So
yes. Oh yeah, you can cycle it back in.
So it's like a feedback loop there.
I didn't think about that. I was thinking too busy about the aluminium side of things. how it can be used in that way. But yeah.
The other thing with the fuel is also its burn rate in the generators. So depending on which type, I think rocket fuels
4.1?
4.167.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like one of those weird uneven numbers.
That'll be fun to balance. And then the other ones,
because we want you to upgrade to ionized fuel, right? We want you to go
okay.
to the steady 3
3.5?
meters.
Oh, is
just
it
3
3?
cubic meters,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And the other thing with that is we can package those and use them in our jetpacks for two different types of fuels. I'm interested to know whether if we put rocket fuel and we jump on a Mark 6 belt, whether we're just gonna like warp off into the distance.
That's true, actually.
Just launch. Like you're gonna hit that achievement. Hit the high sky limit or something.
You don't need the hypertube cannons anymore.
Oh yeah, we don't need that. Who uses hypertube cannons anymore?
Yeah.
Now that's a big
A lot of
question.
people do. What do you mean?
Yeah, I know. The reason I baited it. Yeah, and then the other one, because they have different boost, right? So one launches higher, right? And
Yeah.
then the
So
other one,
So yeah, rocket fuel has higher like ceiling of velocity, so it can reach a higher maximum velocity, essentially vertically, specifically. So you can go up faster than you can with the other one. But the ionized fuel in jetpack has like better handling. You know, it's easier to control yourself when you're flying around. You're not floating as much.
yeah.
You have a lot of vertical momentum there as well. And I would say like ionized fuel is really like the more flexible one out of the two.
Yeah.
Because the rocket fuel is mostly there if you just want to go straight up, essentially.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be leaning towards the ionized fuel because I'm a this is kind of like a war that's in the Satisfactory community. You could say, is, what are you, a liquid biomass or are you a turbo fuel? Like, I like the length and control of the liquid biomass, and then some people like the speed of the
need
turbo
for
fuel.
speed.
But I think this one's a good balance between them both. So,
And then you have me who refuse to get rid of the hover pack. I just use that constantly.
just use it everywhere.
I would love to see a Mark II variant of the hover pack.
Yeah, with thingy.
I think that would be really. Oh, we could use batteries.
Because like we looked into that at update 6 or 7. I can't remember. It was at some point we actually looked into like, can we just buff the hover pack? And we were like, yeah, let's do it. And then Mark ran the numbers, I guess, and he came back like, actually we can't. And I never understood really why, but there was some design decision behind like why we couldn't buff the hover pack.
Yeah, like a Mark II with like batteries in it, or the new IKEA lamp and stuff.
Yeah, unlimited power.
Yeah, yeah. And then obviously these can go into vehicles and all that kind of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the fuel type change the speed of the vehicles?
Only for drones,
Only for the drones. Oh, interesting. That's a shame.
as far as I know, unless they. That's what
could
they
you
told
imagine
me.
the supersonic trucks, nitrous?
Yeah, rocket-fueled trucks.
I can hear the Fast and Furious music right now. Like,
No, I think it's mostly that like they'll last longer, so you can take more trips with like the better the fuel, the longer the trip you can take with like trucks, for instance. And with
okay.
drones, it's like specifically speed, so it's like drones will be able to travel faster between the ports.
But that's a big change in itself, isn't it? Because before we were just using batteries, so that frees up sulfur.
Yep.
And changes speeds as well.
yeah, because that was the big problem with drones, is that we needed them with sulfur. Then sulfur led to nuclear, and that's why a lot of people, including myself, wanted more sulfur. Was because of that.
I thought that was kind of solved with the use of the magnetic field generators not taking the batteries anymore.
No, this is just
this
me
is
building large. Not that's all it is.
Go
Just me
big or
building a
go
large-
home.
It's not an everybody problem. It's just me building a large factory.
But this is actually
wanting
a
more.
general thing where when we were working on tier 9 is that we felt that batteries were gating so much stuff. Like you constantly ran into like, oh, but you need to make batteries, and then you needed more of them. So like we just felt that we needed to free up batteries a little bit so that not everything was dependent on that like production chain. So that's one of the reasons why we removed it from the magnetic field generator recipe, and also why we felt that drones, it makes sense to use more fuel types, so you have options there.
Yeah.
I feel the whole of 1.0 is like this massive rebalance of everything, and it works well. On paper, it seems to work really well with what you've done, especially with the converter as well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Tier 9 extensively, but like the stuff that I've done, I've really enjoyed the numbers. I don't know if it's because I feel like this is not the case. I don't feel like I have learned more about the game. I just feel like that it's easier to set up production chains with the new balancing of the game, and it's easier to like figure out when ratios are off. It's easier to figure out like how to fix them, or like how to make them even.
Yeah. Because we touched on this last week, because it's like the converter is something that could be not just for one type of player. It could be for someone who's doing modular builds, large builds, someone who wants to build, big chains to make one item.
Yeah.
So it's a big game changer, which is what we touched on last week.
Speaking of building factories, the quality of life changes as well.
Oh, yeah.
Are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So if I just mentioned the straight conveyor belts, I think that would have been enough, because I cannot tell you how much of a game changer that is. At least for me, in the style that I build factories, where I like that 90-degree turn. It just like removes like 3 steps almost, it feels like, of building.
Yeah.
You don't need as many poles anymore, because the curve will come without a pole.
Oh, yeah, we could actually see that in the trailer, right?
Yeah, so because like you only need the end pole, so you don't need that like extra pole to be able to get the curve.
That's one extra U object.
Yeah.
Not the
So yeah, I mean, they add up.
Yeah, they do add up.
And yeah, there's a bunch of like changes to snapping in general, like how buildables, because there's a lot of edge cases with like how stuff snap to what.
Yeah.
And we've taken a lot of time to like decide, okay, like how should this behave though when you're snapping into this and this and this. So, and it's kind of hard to explain all that stuff because there's so many edge cases.
Yeah.
And it's also hard to explain the whole thing with when you're connecting stuff to buildables, like when you only need to aim at the building. It's sort of like how power works, right? You don't need to like aim at the connection point, you just aim at the building.
Snap straight to it. I like the new kind of like visuals it gives as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the dotted lines and whatnot.
Yeah. They're definitely better, and I still think that it's still in tight spaces. It might still be tricky, but that's mainly because there's so much going on at the same time. There's so many like indicators and whatnot. But it's a lot easier to like get some form of indication of like at least the direction of stuff when you're placing them. Because I always had a hard time when I was placing like mergers and splitters to like, sometimes you don't see the arrows, right?
Yeah.
So now when you actually see like the movement of the incoming belt or whatever, it makes it easier to see like that you've rotated them correctly.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really like is the new rail system. And I wonder if I can just pick your brain really quickly. When you hold control on placing a rail straight on a ramp, is that going to place a straight rail in the same incline? Or not?
So no, it won't be like a straight like it will be straight in the same axis as the previous like railway point, right? So if you're at an incline, you can still have it go straight but up, right?
Right.
So it's mainly, I'm not too sure like what the use case specifically, like where this is gonna fit in the most for people, because this is a little bit of a hidden feature. They just like really wanted me to mention as well, because it's not like a new build mode or anything like that. It's just like an extra thing you can do with railways now. So it just makes it so like when you're not building on foundations, you can get straighter railways, because you always get that little curvature thing going on.
And then you get all these like small little S bends going from one pole to another pole. So you can avoid that a little bit better when you're freehand building railways. And I think that's mostly where this will be used. And does that go without the foundations underneath?
Yeah.
So so then if you was to go from a pole and then hold control, it won't go to the ground. It'll ping like a.
No, it'll go to the ground. So like that's what I mean with like in verticality, it will
Oh, right,
snap
okay.
to whatever is on top of
Right.
it.
Yeah. So because I was thinking like it won't stay on the same axis as what the other one
Yeah,
is.
it's
So,
confusing, but it will.
yeah.
It'll stay on the same like direction
Yeah.
that it's coming from. So it'll be
But
straight.
it'll
in
just
that
be a
way.
down ramp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
There was something in regards to the belts. I know this was quite a few videos back. I think it was the whole performance video you did. And touching on the belts and like the objects and stuff, because I do get this a question asked a lot. Is, do you know when we used to put down like multiple segments of belts and it used to class as different UI objects?
Mm-hmm.
With the new thing, because it's all blends to one now, doesn't it?
So they update as one, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure. But they probably still
They still count as individuals.
count as individual. Yeah. 'cause
Okay,
They're
yeah.
individual assets. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. I just
But
wanted
we
to touch
have
on
like
that.
this smart system that like creates. Oh wait, no, that's sorry. Ignore that. That's for the. We have the system now when you place like the cosmetic buildables.
Yeah.
They don't count as much towards the U object count.
Oh,
That is good for
that
me.
is good, yeah.
Yeah, because like
Podcack
this-
screaming right now.
I can't remember that video. I think it was just optimization was the name of the video where
Yeah, yeah.
I talked about like dumb actors or whatever I call it. No, they're
Yeah, the lower the actors or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's something called actor, and it's basically like when we load in the like a building has a ton of logic and stuff tied to it, right? But cosmetic build pieces don't. But they used to be based on like the same type of actor in the game, so they would have a ton of information that wasn't really necessary. So we stripped them down and made them way smaller, so they
Yeah.
leave less of a footprint there.
I'm so curious with the performance changes, because I think the first thing I do want to do is, as soon as I jump into 1.0, is I want to see my current save. I know I didn't like break, but I want to see the performance, like how that's different or changed. Just as a thing, maybe nothing changed, but I would suspect it has.
Yeah, it depends. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah. But I guess back to the quality of life stuff. Chainsaw. We saw a teaser of this on Twitter, right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
chainsaw functions. Was it a teaser on Twitter?
Mhm.
It was just where you can now chop down a tree, single, or an AOE. Because the way we used to do it in the past was we had to make sure we spread out our inventory to make sure it's full if we
Yeah.
wanted to cut down a tree for some form of decoration. Where now we have a hotkey where we can change to cut down a single tree, because there's a lot of people out there that like to use the vegetation in their factories and whatnot. So it's kind of a cool little thing. Instead of removing everything by accident, you can then, yeah. But then we got loads of new buildables.
Loads is
Yeah.
a couple.
What we get, 5 windows,
No, 3 windows, I think.
3 windows.
3 windows. So we had the octagonal one, hexagonal.
the
No,
beehive
hexagonal
kind of-
one. Yeah, and then there was also the one with the like upside down Y.
Yeah.
Strips, and then there was one with a new frame around the outside.
Yeah, it looks like a bulletproof kind of thingy one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we got the small fence, then the larger fence variant, and then we got the chain
Barriers,
They're,
right?
they're
Yeah.
both same size fences. One has like this tarp thing on top of it, and the
Yeah.
other one is just see through.
Yeah, that's the
chain
other
link
ones, right? Yeah, the
fences.
chain
Yeah.
link ones. Yeah,
And then
Yeah,
there's the
the-
2 barriers.
the barriers. Yeah, the barriers are double. It has a bigger brother, basically. And then we got foundation steps, which we kind of talked about last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which
Ooh,
is-
foundation step.
Mhm.
Foundation steps. A cheeky little
Yeah.
person saw it.
That was also a tiny bit in the frame with the little
Yeah.
stairs.
Yeah, because I was looking at it and was like, we know it can be built in game, but we know for a fact that with all these trailers, we know you don't do any of that kind of stuff normally.
That was a way nicer way to say that than what I heard you say on stream the other day.
Well, that you were shit at building.
No, Snutt only builds boxes.
He only builds boxes. Yeah. But Yeah, I feel so called out there. And I think that was it with that, right? I'm gonna guess these steps have a 2 variant, a 2 high, because I don't think there's need one for 1 meter, but I do believe there should be one for 2 meter, right? Because I think that's the one that we saw in the video at the end. I think that looks like a 2 meter one.
Good question. There might be. I actually don't remember. There might be.
You built it.
Yeah, but I only picked one. I was like, fuck, I'll build this one.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
And then,
Oh, yes.
yeah, you go on. You can talk about this
Oh,
one.
I'm so excited for this one. We've been spotting it for a while. The new customizer metallic paint swatches.
Yeah.
Although,
Shinies.
yeah, I think there were 5 materials, right? There was
Yeah.
The shiny one, the chrome.
They're all
one.
shiny.
Yeah, chrome,
bronze. Oh no,
Caterium.
copper even, right? Caterium, chrome.
I don't know why we don't note this down.
Why? Yeah, why didn't we?
Chrome, copper, and then this one called unpainted, which is sort
Unpainted,
of like
Unpainted.
it's shiny,
it-
but with that extra glare, and the
So it's
carbon
just-
steel, and then
yeah.
Caterium.
It basically says it in the name. I was just about to say, so it's basically machines, but that's unpainted. Like,
Yeah.
I was just about to, yeah. And they look pretty cool. So,
And you can apply them to buildables, which is
Yes.
yeah, because we did see that in the Particle Accelerator and stuff in last week's trailer, and then what we saw in this week. So,
2 weeks back, I guess. Oh yeah, I guess they were
was it
part
2
of
weeks?
They were particle accelerators, I guess, in last week as well.
Yeah, there was. It's been a long month.
it's all a blur.
I don't know what's happened in this last week. 'Cause I don't know how many videos myself and Total
Daily.
combined have released
Yeah.
in this past 2 weeks. And we can only apologize for all of our speculation because some of you must be annoyed.
Well, it's like the more you speculate, the more right you should be at some point, right? It's like the more you throw at the wall.
We're going to get to that.
Well,
Which I guess could lead on to our next topic.
yeah. So,
Alien tech.
well, we
So-
before we jump to that, we should
Well,
point out the Mercersphere reveal.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That was
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't want to talk about this because I got it wrong.
I mentioned that it looked awfully like the Mercersphere's skin, but I didn't say it was the Mercersphere, so I'm just going to say I'm half
Yeah.
right.
I thought I got what the Mercersphere was going to do, but I didn't get what the purple thing was. I thought the purple thing was a warp for a ship to come in or go out. That's what I thought it was for.
Well, I think
There's a lot of speculation what that was. There's a lot of theories, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah.
No, but you purposely knew because why was it so large?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that
That's
was
why
the
you did
problem. It was so big. You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and then
like-
I posted the teaser on stream this week where it shrunk, right? And I was like, this will be an indication, maybe. And then,
Yeah.
when we
And
get
then
the final clip.
time warp distillation or what everyone was talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, I was
I feel bad for the scary thing of like doing these kind of things is like I always feel bad for people that think it's something and they're really excited, like, oh, it's gonna be whatever, and then it's not that, you know, it's something else. So it's always like a risky move to do that stuff.
But yes, like I said, I got what it was wrong, but it could have been a portal, but it is blah blah blah.
It's
But what-
related to portals, though, which we'll get on to.
It is,
Kinda.
which I thought it was just going to be the Mercersphere in the MAM, which is true, but it's not just the Mercersphere. It's alien tech.
Yes.
It is everything from Somersloops to Samor. And
It's
to
not
Mercerspheres.
Samor.
Oh,
Actually, it's Sam.
Sam.
It's just Sam.
Everyone's going to call it Samor.
Well, they're wrong. They're gonna get an
well.
F on the test.
Well. So yeah, it's now in the MAM. We get to see like a few little glimpses of like a couple of branches in there. And we then got confirmation that the Sam goes into a constructor and makes reanimated Sam.
Yeah.
which is what me and Total thought was called the fluctuators.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
it goes into a manufacturer with pipes and wire, which makes some fluctuators.
Yes.
So it's kind of right, but not on the wrong object.
Yeah. So what we can take from that, though, because we grabbed hold of it being a SAM fluctuator because Snutt, one of your distorted messages was, it said strange alien matter fluctuator, presumably now.
Yeah.
And was relating to the building of the converter. So
yeah, that's when the glitch thing happened, yeah.
That's what's needed, along with some other items to build it, right?
Yeah,
Right?
you build the converter with SAM fluctuators. So that's one of the parts to be able to build the converter.
Do we know what the other parts are?
I sure do, but I'm not going to tell you.
Darn it!
Oh boy.
I don't remember, but it's like other parts. It's like other known parts.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that's Sam, which we also saw is on top of the cliff next to the purple slugger. So we know we're basically 2 now.
Well, that one was already in the game, so that hadn't
that one
been
was
moved.
there. But the one we talked about last week in the creator list has been added.
Yes.
So that one, but we don't need to talk about it. They talked about that one. And now the next question is, I guess we could either stick with the Mercer spheres or do we go down the Somersloops right now?
I
Because
think
it's
we
two
finished
big
with
branches.
the Mercer spheres.
Yeah,
Have we?
is the best part, yeah.
Have we?
Sorry?
Have we finished with Mercer spheres?
No, I think we can talk about Mercer spheres now and then go on to the Somersloop.
Okay, so Mercer spheres. Actually, you can have this one because I want to. No, because I don't want to confuse these Somersloop things, the tier 5s and tier 6. You can talk about that one.
Great.
But Mercer spheres. Are the dimensional depot.
Yeah.
Which is unlocked in tier 3. It's not
4, I guess, because steel is...
Steel is 4, so it's
4, right?
So it unlocks in phase 2. Phase 2. So I'm just gonna jot that down in there, so it comes in.
You can find them earlier, but you won't be able to take advantage of it until then.
Yeah, and this was something we've kind of both touched on, which was the whole remote storage, as in what we've been kind of seeing on the there's things we've been the wiki.
The redacted stuff.
Never heard of it. What's that?
Yeah, the redacted stuff. And it was originally in the trailer. So we knew it was coming from with the maybe something to do with the Mercer spheres after they got saying it wasn't part of the story. So we kind of like, okay, then more than likely it's this. And the Somersloops have been a big question. But what it does, it is you put a belt into it, and then it's kind of the way I'm kind of seeing it, and I told Total this, it's like when the belt goes in, it's like using an Ethernet. It's like an Ethernet cable, so you get faster upload speed with your items that go in. So it's a remote storage that goes to your pocket dimensions, and you can open that via a tab. And when you open that tab, you can see the items in there. But you're going to get a basic stuff because then you can go to the MAM and then you're going to upgrade it, right? It's not...
Sure.
Sure. Okay. So from what we saw, when it goes in, it then uploads at 240 per minute. And then if we look at the shot, I shouldn't go really too much into this right now.
Yeah, because like those speeds will vary depending on how much you upgraded the...
yeah, if you've
the
upgraded it too
depot.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can upgrade it in the MAM. But then that goes into your inventory, and then you can then drag the items from the tabs into your personal inventory. Or when you're building, it uses them if you don't have them in your personal inventory, right?
Yep.
That's pretty cool. But then you can also tick a box up in the top corner, and it will only use your remote storage and not your inventory.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool as well.
Yeah.
So, because I'm a player that uses large inventory mod, because as we know, going backward and forward, it can be a pain sometimes, and using trains and making a whole depot and all this kind of stuff. And this is kind of cool for that kind of thing. So I'm super happy that we have it.
So am
So
I.
am I. It's awesome. It's so good.
It is a cool little thing. And I don't know which member of the dev team we need to buy beers for.
Well, it's multiple. A bunch of
Multiple.
people worked on it. Yeah.
No,
But
that's
it's so good because like, and also something that I can clarify that like might be hard to know before you actually use it is like, why would you? Because you can grab stuff from the depot when you're building. So like, why would you ever have anything in your inventory? Is like I guess the first question people might have. If you think about it. And it mostly has to do with the fact that like the upload speed is limited, right?
Yeah.
So when you're building your factories and you're sending stuff to your dimensional depot, like as soon as you use up all the stuff in your inventory or in the dimensional depot, you'll have to wait for your factory to like, uploading stuff.
Yeah.
So you can sort of save that time by buffering the items in your inventory. Or at least that's how I like to do it. So I like to move stuff out of the dimensional depot into my inventory. And as I'm running around, it'll upload to the dimensional depot. And then as I'm running out of items in my inventory, I'll immediately have a full stack there. Or a couple of stacks there.
So basically, in short, what he just said, when he goes to build a new project, he puts the storage down and then transfers items over so things still carry on coming over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also put them in parallel. So you can have two dimensional depot uploaders and send in screws to both of them, and that will make the upload faster.
That's what I was about to ask.
Was about to ask that. So, in regards to this, is there a limit on how many of these storages on the left we can have?
Yeah. It's based on the limit of Mercer spheres on the map.
Oh, so potentially 50.
No, there's more than that because I thought Somersloops were 150.
So no. I'm gonna ruin the fun right here because we've rebalanced the number of Mercer spheres and Somersloops on the map.
Oh.
And there are significantly more Mercer spheres on the map now than there used to be. But I think we've reduced the amount of Somersloops on the map.
Joking.
Somersloops was 151.
Yeah, so they flipped it a bit.
Okay, yeah, but that's going to bleed into Total's topic in a minute. But yeah, the whole storage thing, it is really, really cool. And I'm glad it's unlocked early as well.
Yeah.
And because I thought we might potentially be getting Sam in tier 9 as the first thing to unlock. But I never thought about it going in. I know some people in my community have mentioned it, that it could just be under the MAM. So GG's if you got that right. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it on that. So if it is based on the limited amount of Mercer spheres, that could be a lot. So I'm guessing we can only have one of each item in there, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
because if you was to put 10, put 10 of them down with all screws going in, it's only going to go into a screw little block, right?
Yeah,
screw.
So it's all, and that's also something you upgrade, like how many stacks of screws you can have on the dimensional depot.
And that uses Mercer spheres as well, by the looks of it.
Only to build the storage containers.
But also for the science, the research of it, isn't it?
Oh yeah. So to unlock and upgrade, you need to spend Mercer spheres. Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm going to guess the more upgrades we have, the further we need to be in our tiers and phases to get the bigger unlocks.
Potentially, I don't remember. I don't remember what
It would make sense for it to do that. Maybe something in tier 8 to unlock the last bit of Mercer sphere, because you probably need a Mercer sphere and maybe aluminium sheets or something. Let's just say that.
If I remember correctly, most of the requirements to upgrade the dimensional depot is just finding more Mercer spheres. So I don't think there are too many limitations in terms of progression for that specifically, because that's something we want you to use throughout the entire game. Especially when you play multiplayer, by the way, that's also something to consider, because the more people who are going to use the dimensional depot, the faster you'll drain the inventory from the dimensional depot, right? So that's also an aspect, and that also kind of balances out the fact that two people can work on the same factory and they're twice as fast at building, but then they have less sort of resources in the dimensional depot because they're both taking from it. So it kind of balances that out a little bit.
With the Mercer spears, since the so you said the Somersloops have been reduced. If you was in multiplayer, there is an achievement for 50 Somersloop collection, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
50. What if in multiplayer if someone was to get 50, would that bleed over to someone else's achievement?
That's a good question. I actually don't know.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering that, because if it's someone just playing dedicated multiplayer, if someone was to pick 50 up, is it going to them? And then it means
No, yeah, that makes I think it's if you're in the session, you both get it. But don't quote me on that, because
if best thing to do is if you do play with somebody, and when you get into 1.0, try it, and then if it doesn't work, grab 50 Somersloops from your inventory and send it over to your friend. See if that works. That could work.
Sneaky.
Somersloops, Total.
Yeah, thanks. So
this is a big one, so you can have
there's we both speculated about the big building, which we now know is the power augmenter, and that's available in tier 6, I think. So it's mid game.
Don't ask me. I was already getting this wrong.
Okay, well, don't quote me on it, but I think it's tier 6. But the big thing about this, so many people had ideas as to what this could be. Like, is it a Tesla tower? Is it generating wireless power? Is it
miners?
Mining resources or harvesting something from the ground? Or is it splitting Somersloops? Is it building items from the Somersloops? Well, we know there are 2 and maybe a half things for the Somersloops. I'm saying half because we saw something at the end.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, the power augmenter just augments power.
Yeah.
For your facility,
It gives you free power, essentially.
Yeah. So it gives you 500 megawatts for just placing it and then connecting it to your grid. But from my understanding, you might have to clarify this, that it gives us our grid 10% more power, but that 10% isn't stackable with the 10% from other power augmenters, though you can stack the total amount of power by stacking the augmenters.
I feel like we just wanted to make it as confusing as possible, like when explaining this shit. So basically the way it works, right, is you have if you just look at it from like how much power you get from the power augmenter, is if you look at it purely from like what you get from the building itself, it is, your regular power production plus 500 times the amount of augmenters that you have, right? So like if you remember the equation that I put on the screen, it's like the 2 first, like P plus 500N, that's just like how much power you get from the augmenter, by itself. It's like having, if you're adding biomass generators, like the more biomass generators you add, the more power you're gonna get. And then and the other half of it is the boost, right? So how the boost is calculated. And that's based on your general power creation or your production, right? Power production.
Yeah.
And it's like you take your existing power production and you multiply it by 10% times the amount of augmenters you have, right? So if you have 1 augmenter, it's 10% of your power. If you have 2, it's 20%. If you have 3, it's 30%, and so on and so forth.
Wait, so I could put down 20 and it would be 200% of the total power of my...
Yes. Wait, what?
That's so if my power plant that I've just set up is producing 150,000 megawatts, and then I place down 20 augmenters, you're telling me that... Wait, I need to do the maths.
So if you made 20,000 megawatts of power in your factory without any power augmenters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you place down how many did you say?
20.
20, right? So it's 20 times 500, which is 10,000, right? So you're
doing the maths on a calculator, right? Because I'm not.
Yeah, he's hitting it as hard as he hits his mouse. Boom, boom, boom.
So like the raw power you get from the augmenters, 20 augmenters by themselves is 10,000, right?
Right.
So 10,000 plus 20,000. This is how much now your grid has, right? Without boosting it, okay? And to calculate how much boost you get from having these augmenters, you take those 30,000 and you do 30,000 times 1, so 0.1, I guess was 10%, times 20. Oh, whoops, I messed up my calculator.
There will be a guide on this. I'm just saying. There will be a guide on this.
Which is 2, right? So it's 2 times, what was it, 30,000. So you get 60,000 boost.
So that's 90,000 now on our.
Yeah, and it's like more. It's like 3 times what you already produce without the augmenters. So it's like, if I did the math right.
Wow. So is it safe to say that late tier game is going to be very power hungry?
So the reason why it's a little bit of an experiment, to be honest, because we know that this can escalate things, but also how like it's very fortuitous to use Somersloops for power amplification, right? Because you get more of it, and that means that you need a lot more power. So the way we hope things work out is that when you're amplifying your production, you'll need way more power, and then that will sort of even out by the fact that you're using power augmenters.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
In theory, at least.
I'm a visual learner, and this is going over my head right now. So I need to science and see the numbers for myself and all that stuff with that.
The other thing with this that Snutt just touched on was the production amplification.
Mm.
And so I was kind of correct with my first assumption of this being you put a Somersloop into the manufacturer or the constructor, and it looks like it doubles the output. Is that just double for every like production buildable?
So it depends on the building. Because if you place it in a constructor can only fit 1 Somersloop. So if you put 1 Somersloop in a constructor, you will get twice the output. So if it's producing 30 iron ingots in a smelter, for instance, same deal there, I believe, you'll get 60 instead of 30, right? So it's twice.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the more expensive buildings, like the manufacturer, I think you need 4 Somersloops to get twice the output.
Ooh.
If we put 2 in, do we get half, or is it?
Yeah, 1.5. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
1.5 times.
It is a 25% boost for every single Somersloop in the manufacturer.
In the manufacturer.
Yeah, and it's 50% in the constructor. What about the smelter?
I think it's same as constructor.
Same as constructor.
So
we could just go through all of these buildings now.
And I think it's like 2 slots for the refinery. And assemblers, maybe also 2, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and then Total spotted that it is 4 times the more power as well when you put it in.
4 times the power. Because Bitz picked up on this, and I don't know if you can say, but in the redacted stuff, there were buildables that were tier 2 variants. You've spoken about this in a video with Jace. Was this the solution to that? Is that why we have this?
Sort of, yeah, because the reason why we don't have tier 2 like constructor Mark II or whatever.
It's time consuming.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we felt like if we did that, we kind of wanted to make a different buildable. And actually, fun fact, the foundry is actually the smelter Mark II originally. So when we made the foundry, that was like the first prototype of the Mark II smelter.
Mm-hmm.
And then we realized that like it's not as simple as just it's not as fun if it's just like, oh, this just makes twice as much or it's just twice as good. We felt like that's not interesting. It's more interesting if they actually have some other
As I said, I think this is a cooler and smarter way than just doing a tier 2 version.
Yeah. So it's sort of it's the same vein, right? We wanted to solve like we want you to give another option on how you can overclock and
and it
get
ties
more
in
out of less
with the thing we've had for the whole time anyway. So
with
the Somersloops.
Just touching up, you mentioned the smelter and then the foundry being the essentially the tier 2 variant. In the MAM video, there are buildables missing in the certain alternate recipes where you would think they would be in the foundry. Is that something to pick up on, or is that just you missed something out, or it's awfully quiet in here?
It's got awfully quiet. We can't see if he's doing anything right now.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I even pulled that video, put it into editing software, and tried to lower the blacks to see if he was using a black bar to hide anything behind it. Like, because I'm a nerd. And
this wasn't
find out.
intentional. If I'll just pat myself in the back retroactively. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
All the recipes that were shown though should have been in the buildings that was there, because like there was one that was known to be in the assembler, but on a previous image in another hard drive recipe, the assembler was shown, but it wasn't shown in the next one, which was.
Oh, that might have just been like editing because I wanted to show off like here are 4 recipes, and I was in a later phase or something when I did that. So like.
So you did it at different times, because we was wondering
possibly.
like. We thought normally if it's blanked out because you don't have the machine.
No, I don't think that is the case though. I think it all, at least currently in game, it always shows the machine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because you'll need to have it unlocked to get them recipes.
Yeah. Because I think the case was when I was recording that video, I wanted to showcase like I want to have 4 alt recipes in the list, and when I started recording part of it. I was at like phase 1 or phase 2 or whatever, and then at that point there are only so many alt recipes. So like since it's 4 recipes that are drawn from the pool for each like slot, that means like most of the alt recipes at that point in time were taken. So I couldn't get any more. Like it was just like, because it tells you when you don't have any alt recipes that it can draw from the pool, it'll just tell you like you can't do anything with this hard drive right now. And it won't let you draw it because you need to get rid of one of the previous ones so it frees up those 2 slots, right?
Yeah. So
And then you get to
it's something we don't need to officially look into then.
No, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay.
And you
Can get a
wonder why
little
we
bit gated in the
speculate.
early game because of this, because it's reserving those slots. But it like as you progress, it will even out.
Okay. I do have one question on the Somersloop still. So we touched on the production amplification. Can we use that on the fuel generators and power production buildings to double the amount of power produced?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
It's only for product, like something that's
Being
power
produced.
production is something, but it's manufacturing something.
Yeah, because if you think about it, with what you just said a minute ago, with the whole boosting of 20, and then if you was to put Somersloops in that as well, oh god, that would be a snowball. Like, you won't need to build a power plant again. Well, technically you will, just to get the end game.
It is going to snowball regardless, but
Yeah.
So the next thing I think we can talk about is your favorite thing, Bitz. The blueprint designer.
Oh. This video. Oh my god. This video. My speculations and everything in this video. Oh, he's under NDA. He's got this. Like, oh boy. I was under fire. I was up with my shield on this. But yeah, like it kind of made sense to get bigger blueprints,
I agree with you.
I think it's one of the most requested things, I believe. Most talked about things. The thing is, we got a 5x5.
Yeah.
Why a 5x5?
Oh my god. Why didn't we get an 8x8 or 32x30? You're always gonna move the goal. You guys will always move the goalposts no matter what we've given you. So,
yeah. But I'm just curious why a 5x5 and like not a 6x6, because I suspected a 6x6, and then I thought a Mark III was coming, but maybe, but because there's some features that I mentioned as well, which I thought would come in, but we only got announced the Mark II blueprint.
Yeah. Like we still really believe that like it is an interesting, problem you have to solve with the format, and when we were seeing it, like most people were managing to do stuff that we wanted them to do, and it's like they were on the cusp of excellence in a lot of cases. There were a lot of times when people were building stuff and they were like, oh, I just needed to get this power pole in here, and it's just out of reach, right? And when we implemented the blueprint designer and we were testing it internally, we had the 4 and the 5, and we were testing it, and we were like, 5 is great, 4 works, and we were like, all right, let's give it to people and see how they feel. And for the most part, I think it worked out. Like, there's a lot of really good creative implementations. Yeah. And now we're at the point where we just feel like, all right, it worked out okay, but we think if we just give one more step, it'll be pretty good.
So, like, because I don't use blueprints anyway. Like, I'm not worried too much about it, but I'm just coming from what the community has asked me and stuff. So, like, because with the whole 5x5 and then the whole, have you explored the possibilities of trying to connect the blueprints?
Yes.
I'm hoping he's going to smile on his face.
It's very complicated.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like it's like solvable, but holy shit.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass.
Because it does speed up time to obviously spam blueprints, and then you still have to do a bit of manual work to get into it and whatnot. Because I thought it was going to come.
It's like a complicated thing, and it's not like it's impossible to do it, but it's always this is the classic thing for us, right? Where, all right, we could spend the effort implementing it so it works, but it's going to take so much time, and we could spend this time on doing something else. We could spend this time making the dimensional depot, for instance, Yeah. And if it's like, would you prefer having, blueprints where you can connect automatically, or would you rather have the dimensional depot, right? Sometimes it might not be this clear cut when we're making this decision, but it's essentially these things that we're constantly balancing when we're deciding what to go with and whatnot.
Yeah. So there's potential room for some in the future, but vertical nudging. I've heard something people mention about it, but I've never heard a clear thing about it directly from a source. Why no vertical nudging?
Because we ran out of buttons for that.
Wait,
couldn't you just put control and then I don't know up and down?
We're not against vertical nudging. I don't know if we've come off as that. It's just like when we made nudging, when we were deciding on it, we just like, we wanted it on the regular buttons, and it didn't work. And control is used for other things, so like they clash with other. So we just didn't figure it out at that time, and like we might do it in the future. Like it's not out of the question or anything. It's not like we don't want vertical nudging.
I think what it is because it's when you try to go to snap 2 blueprints together, and you try and it nudges it above.
Yeah.
So you have to put something below it and then put it on top. So it's a bit awkward to do it. So I think that's what it is for.
Yeah.
And then that's all we got on blueprints. So I was like, is there more than what meets the eye here?
See, I knew people would be fucking like disappointed by this. Like only like 5x5 is like, you asked for this for so long, and then when you finally get it, it's like, oh, it's not good enough.
The thing is, we want to be able to do railway blueprints, to do easy junctions or corners, and you can't do that in a 5x5.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't matter how big they were, because you'd have the issue with like you can't connect blueprints with each other, right? It's a similar like having conveyor belts. It's a similar problem.
Yeah. But I guess the new quantum coder won't be able to fit in a 5x5 because it's a 6.
No, but you shouldn't be building that many of them because they are.
Hey, excuse me.
Tell Bill Andrew that.
I mean, let's be reasonable here, okay? Like,
I'm making pink juice.
Making pink juice for days.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you can clarify. Can we flush pink and blue juice?
You mean like
like just flush it, you know?
I have an idea for this, but like
I don't. Yeah, no, you can flush them. You can flush them as any gas or liquid.
Okay.
So you could be standing like right outside the quantum encoder, just like flush. I'll get rid of all the byproduct.
So I said on stream the other day, if we can flush it, I am going to hire somebody just to stand there and just flush 1,000 containers,
Yeah, good do that.
buffers, just flush it. So,
That's how I make bauxite.
yeah. Oh, true. Is that it for blue? I think that's it for blueprints, right?
Yeah, I think
We can get to the juicy thing.
Yeah, the juicy thing. So this comes back to the Somersloop again, and it's the same power augmenter, right? Except the really important thing here is we can see on the belt to the left there's a new item that hasn't been explained. That is the important thing.
It takes off. It takes off and shoots lasers.
Yeah, it reminds me of The Incredibles, where there's the alien robot that just like goes on its arms and legs and starts shooting everyone.
Oh my god! But yeah, what's on this belt?
But what about the lasers, though?
No.
Aren't they cool?
Oh my god! It reminds me of something like at a fun fair. You know, like I'm just gonna need seats on it. Like,
do you?
But yeah.
What do you think it does, Bitz?
What? Right. So with the whole speculation that we've been having of there's some people have been mentioning about potential miners, right? That it could be some form of mining source or building, and it's gonna shoot into the ground, like it's gaining energy when it goes up and starts spinning, and then it sucks in so much power and then forces it somewhere. So you're gonna force it from the little water sprinkler thing at the top, or it's going to shoot the Somersloop into the ground or something. But the only thing I can think it could be in reality is now that Snutt said about possible reduced Somersloops, is that we're extracting the data from it, and whatever that machine is that's going into it, what you just said on the belt a minute ago, which we don't have a clue what it is, right?
No idea. I thought it was the assembly director systems at first, but it isn't.
I feel like it's going to output an item, potentially, that could be another variant of a power shard, so we can use them instead of Somersloops in machines. So like a pink power shard, not a blue one. That's the only thing I can think of. What do you think?
I have a couple of speculations, as always.
I know we've not had a lot of time because we've got off stream and got this done. Like we've not managed to get a lot of research done.
Yeah.
So.
I think first and foremost, it could be the starting animation. You know, like when you put down a well pressurizer, we know this generates the 500 watts. What if once you put it on and you connect it to the grid, this is the animation that shows, and then it settles down.
And it's nothing to do with anything else. Just why is the items going in then, but not before?
Well, I'm not sure if it is going in or if that's just not being really sneaky.
True. Yeah, I doubt it. But...
The other thing that I think it could be is it's like a flower that self-pollinates, and it's a mummy daddy power augmenter that creates baby Somersloops for us.
I was wondering where you was going with that. I was really...
and the other thing I was talking about in stream the other day is that the power augmenter, as we know, it looks a little bit like a power storage with the kind of coils around it, and it looks like it's like slowly gathering power. So maybe it's got a really slow charge time, and it once an hour or however much power you have, it can output this Somersloop. Because if we only have 50 Somersloops in the game, I mean that's like 12 manufacturers at full like power application thing.
Yeah, because we had a small little conversation about this, and the other option was like, when we get these Somersloops, we are going to have to juggle them within our production lines for the main things, and you mainly want to put them in like your manufacturers and not like a line of smelters is where you kind of want to put them. Like early game, but like when you get to your bigger tiers and your end production, like your supercomputers and all this kind of stuff, like you're going to want to put them into them, but then obviously you got the power to take into consideration with that. But then it's I don't know where to take this machine. It's a weird one, but the funny one, which is probably not going to become a reality. Total thought it was a place you can defend.
Yeah, tower defense.
It's a new plasma thing. So I know Snutt's keeping quiet because this is a weird one, and I'm wondering if we'll find out on Tuesday or if we'll find out in game.
I mean, a couple of other ideas. Just looking at it, it kind of looks like it's using the Somersloop as some kind of focus, and so the problem is the pink laser is going up. But it feels like it should be concentrating those beams and going down either to like harvest something from the Earth's core, maybe for a late game space elevator tier item. Because it does sound like we've got at least one more space elevator part on the way.
Like it's either because it can't be something you put in there that gets consumed once because you're going to run out of Somersloops. It has to be something that's reusable. And it's like it's focusing all its power and strength and gathering loads of energy, and it's going to smash into pieces. And if it's not going to smash into pieces, but like it gives you feed it some items and output. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards these kind of things. That's my only thing about it.
It does look awesome though. It looks amazing.
It looks sick, dude.
Yeah. Like the space elevator was one of my favorite looking buildings because of how it moves and everything like
the
that.
Animation.
But like this could be my new favorite building because I'm probably just going to stare at it and I want to see what it looks like in Lumen. So
this building has easily the best sound design out of all the buildings.
It sounds like a bloody transformer.
Yeah.
So
what do you think it is, Snutt?
I think it's a power augmenter.
Oh, I fell into that one.
Oh, that'd be funny. You think it's a what?
A power augmenter.
This is going to be one of the big things that people are going to be talking about in the comments now. So I don't know.
They're going to talk about Mercerspheres. Those are the real thing.
Possibly blueprints.
I'm so excited for.
Is there anything we missed in that now?
I can't think of anything. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so.
So we're gonna try and hopefully try and get this out tonight, but it's getting. I don't want to get this video out too late because it's been 2 hours now since that trailer come out.
Yeah. It'll be a push.
Yeah, I want to try and get this out for a couple of hours from now. And then more than likely, I know Total's going to do a breakdown video. I will do one over the weekend as well.
Yeah.
So we can try and stitch everything together and make it a little bit more visually. But is there anything else? Is there anything else, Snutt?
You asking me? Or I don't know.
Anybody?
Well,
there's only 3 of us in the room.
I feel like you got. I think you covered it pretty well. You got plenty of ideas as to where things could go, and I think we're all in a good spot here.
Okay. All right. So but thanks for coming, Snutt. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Any dev stream on Tuesday. Are we on YouTube? Right? I think I saw you on TikTok Live the other day, right?
No. Wait, were we?
You was on TikTok Live the other day.
Really?
I was pooping and I went to TikTok. That's my little ritual. And you was live. So either someone's created an account.
What the shit?
But I saw it live. Yeah. So I was like, I didn't know this was thing.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, whoever that is, you're exposed.
So stole my identity.
Yeah. But I'm guessing it'd be Tuesday. What time did you say it was?
So we'll start streaming at 2 p.m. CEST.
2
and
p.m.
then
Okay.
the update, 1.0, drops at 5 p.m. CEST.
Then we can get our hands on it.
Nice.
Yes. And then you can finally build some power augmenters and completely ruin your power grid.
Play with lasers.
And play lasers, yeah.
But again, thanks for the just what you do and the dev team. And again, make sure you put comments, write some nice comments. It's just the right thing to do. Put it in Total's comments in my comments, and we'll make sure that Snutt passes whatever on, because they'll more than likely watch this.
Just don't
the nice
mention the blueprints.
It's a touchy subject. And you've got an additional one, so let's take it for now, and then maybe you expect some in the future. Yeah. Total, anything you want to say?
No, well, once again, yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Thank you for the work with the trailers. They're amazing, and it's fantastic having these teasers to really play around with and get buzzing with the community. Not many games that I follow do that, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
With it.
And I think I could say for us all that when that trailer drops on Tuesday, it's definitely going to bring a tear to my eye for sure, because it's been a long 5 years making content on this, and the amount of videos and just everything, and then it's just come to this final little push now, and then it's like, I know, like it's the baby's all grown up. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting time for the next chapter, but then it's also a sad time because, but I'm super looking forward to it. So,
well, it's a new chapter for us.
Yeah. I can't wait. But guys, thank you so much for watching. And for me, keep smiling, and I'll see you in another video.
And until next time, ciao for now.
And I'm Snutt.
I knew that was coming.